Hey, welcome back. Today we are starting seeds in the seed room. So we are 9 to 10 weeks from my last frost. We are end of February and I am zone 4/5, depending on who you ask or what plant you're growing. I thought I would start with some of my vegetables, ones that need longer to get established so that when my first frost is over, I have large, good established plants ready to start growing and hopefully yield a great harvest. If you're new here, vegetables are definitely a little bit trickier for me. I don't know if it's a lack of interest because they're just not as beautiful. Don't come for me. I'm a flower girl and I just love flowers, but every year I tell myself I'm going to do better with vegetables. So growing starts in my seed room here in the basement is not difficult for me. So I'm going to be growing more than I need because I am thinking about doing a seedling sale for my community. I might as well. I'm starting a ton of seeds anyway. Might as well grow a few extra and see if I can make some profit off of it. So what I'm going to be starting today, so I have a bunch of peppers and tomatoes and other things to share with you of what I'm starting today. So I love soil blocking, so I'll be soil blocking the tomatoes and the peppers in my larger 1-inch cubes, just because I feel like they do need the extra space and they usually do well for me in there. So the peppers I'm starting today are the Mini Bell Mix, and I've got 2 packets of these. They're identical. The reason I chose the Mini Bells was it was just the lesser days to harvest, which I think will help me. We have a quite long growing season, but I still think that that might help yield a little bit more. And then I've got 2 jalapeno peppers. They're just different brands. Excited to try those. I've gotten a few jalapenos in the past off of my jalapeno plants, but not a terrible amount. Okay, and then I've got Walla Walla onions. I've never grown this kind before. I've grown the smaller scallion type, the Egyptian walking onion, which is sort of a novelty, chives, that type of thing, but I've never grown these, so I'm really excited. I'm really excited for these. I think it'll be really nice to have some onions freshly grown from the garden. And then I've got a variety of tomatoes. So I do not need all of these, but I think tomatoes will probably be the #1 seller if I do a seedling sale. So I'm thinking I better start all the ones I have. Okay, so the first one I have is Principal Borghese tomato, and it says this is a traditional variety used for sun-dried tomatoes, and they are determinate. Okay, and then I've got a Rainbow Blend tomato. These are assorted heirlooms like black, pink, red, and yellow Brandywine, known for its size and rich flavor. And then Tomato Yellow Pear-shaped, just like the name states. These are indeterminate, pear-shaped, delightful sweet flavor, vigorous vines. Tomato Sweetie. Cherry type produces clusters of 15 to 20, very sweet, perfect for eating or fresh in salads. Indeterminate as well. Super Sweet 100, a very popular, very aggressive growing cherry tomato. Roma, best known for paste and sauces, determinate. And then I have 2 chocolate cherries, which are gourmet with incredible flavor and heirloom that prolifically yields. Very nice. San Marzano, a good one for sauces and for canning, indeterminate. And then a new one to me is Bonnie Best, also an heirloom. And bright red, globe-shaped fruit, firm fresh with few seeds, excellent for slicing or canning. Okay, so those are all the vegetables I'm going to be starting today. We'll see how many I get through. Like I said, I'm going to be soil blocking in my larger cube, so it will take up a little bit more space, but I think it'll be worth it to get all of these started today. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be using my larger soil blocker, and the idea here is you're compacting as you're pressing down in order to make sure that that cube keeps its shape. And I'm using Pro Mix with the mycorrhizae in it, and I find most seed starting mixes work well. It is just a medium after all. So once you think it's sort of compacted as best as you can, releasing it onto your tray. And there we have it. All right, I'm gonna pump out as many of these as I can. All right, so there we have a tray, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30 soil blocks on there. Typically, if I'm using my 3/4 inch soil blocker, I can get 180 at least on here. But obviously those are smaller, slower growing varieties. But with tomatoes and peppers, I'm gonna want the larger size off the get-go. Okay, I did all of my trays. So these are from IKEA, if you're wondering. Super inexpensive, very solid. I think they'll last me many, many years. I think I've done about 8 of these trays with 30 blocks per tray. And then for my onions, I'm going to broadcast sow my onions because apparently they can tolerate some crowding just when they're germinating. And then as they sort of get growing, I will separate them. So that will be for onions, and then all my tomatoes and peppers are going to be on these trays. Okay, so let's get into it. I will have to share some trays with a couple varieties just based on how many seeds I have left. This one, I'm not sure how popular it is, the Borghese type, so we'll see how many seeds I have. There's quite a few here. These are older, so you can save your seeds from year to year, but sometimes germination rate does go down depending on what variety you're saving. So I would do 2 seeds per, cube just to be safe. I typically get such good germination, I only do 1 seed per cube. Okay, so about half this tray is the Borghese, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'll just squish it over so that I remember which side is which. Okay, on to the second side. Let's see how many of the rainbow blend I have. Yeah, I don't have tons of this one, so I think I'll use the rest of the seed packet. Might as well use it up on this one. Okay, so that one goes there. And since I started seed starting myself, I swear by vermiculite. I just think it really helps with a lot of different issues. You're not going to get as much algae growth. Dampening off has never been an issue for me. This one, I just refilled my bag. This actually isn't the Pro Mix type. I bought a commercial bag from one of our stores. And the texture is a bit coarser than I would like. So I'm sort of grinding it up in my hand as I'm spreading it. But yeah, vermiculite, even a light dusting like that just does so much, I find. Okay, and since this isn't a typical seed tray, I don't have a dome that fits it, so I find Saran wrap does it fine, and you can totally reuse the Saran wrap if needed, as many times as you like. You're just sort of locking in some of that moisture to make sure these seeds can germinate. And seeing as they're both tomatoes, they probably will germinate around the same time, so I'll be able to remove the Saran wrap at the same time once I do see some little baby leaves. Okay, so that one's done. Tomatoes do prefer heat to germinate, so I will put them on their mat, the heating mat, until I do see a sprout, and then they will come off the heat. Okay, next I've got my pear-shaped tomatoes. We'll see how many seeds I have in this one. Again, I kind of want to just use as many as I can because, like I said, some of these seed packets are so old, so I might as well throw a bunch of seeds down and just start fresh next year. And if by chance I get a ton germinating in 1 cube, I can also very delicately separate them and plant them up if I want to. Okay, so that whole tray was the pear, yellow pear. And again, vermiculite. Okay, there's the second tray done. Really starts to pick up speed as soon as you're done sort of the prep work of making all the soil blocks, and then I'm just off to the races. Okay, what's next? Got tomato sweetie, another cherry tomato. Oh, I have like no seeds left of this one. I didn't even think of that. Okay, there's 2 seeds left. I'm just not even gonna worry about it. Too much to label. Not worth it. But that's okay, I have tons. Here's another one, super sweet 100. Like I said, this one's super prolific. Gives you so many tomatoes. Okay, I hardly have any seeds of this one too. So like I said, I'll just use what I have. Again, 2 per cube or block, I should say. So I only got this far. So I'm gonna put this seed packet in there to remind myself where I sort of ended. And then I'll pick up with the Romas. It actually feels really good to get rid of all of these seed packets. You wonder how many years you've had them for, and I think it is due time to sort of start fresh. Okay, the rest of that was Roma. Put them in there. Okay, chocolate cherry. I've got 2 packets of these little cuties, so we'll see how many I have. I might have enough for a full tray. I feel like they might be a more popular type, we'll see. And these I think are newer, so I'll only put 1 seed per square. Got San Marzano. This is a new one to me. It doesn't seem like there's a ton of seeds in this one, but we'll see how many we can get through. I don't know about you, but I do not like these burpee packets. They just seem so staticky. They just sort of stick together, and the seeds do not want to come out very easily. There's only about 20 seeds in that packet, not a ton. So that's the San Marzano. Last tomato I have is Bonnie Best. We'll see if it's not worth it to start a whole new tray for this one. It's a new packet, so I'm sure there's a lot of seeds in here. I think we could start a whole new tray for this one, the Bonnie Best. Let's do some more Romas. All right, Bonnie Best. I've never grown this one, but just by what I'm reading on the back of the packet, it looks like a good one for slicing and canning, it says. I would really like to produce enough tomatoes that I'm actually canning. Maybe some salsa or sauces, that would be lovely. And this is a brand new packet, so I'll just do 1 seed per block. Complete trays left, so I'm thinking that'll be tons of space for 1 tray of jalapenos, 1 tray of mini bell peppers. Perfect. I love it when it works out. Okay. Let's get rid of the rest of these jalapenos. So again, these are old from last year, but I think the germination should probably be fine. I'm just going to do 1 per plug. Okay, now the Walla Walla onions. Like I said, I've never grown these ones before, so I'm really, really interested to see how they do. It says they are 150 days to harvest when you're growing them in the summer. Tiny little seeds. I think I'm going to rough up the soil just to bury them a little bit, because when you're planting in soil blocks, they sort of have like a little divot that you can place your seeds in, and that just helps to bury them a little bit more. So like I said, I'm broadcast sowing these in hopes to get like high germination rates, and then apparently they do well separating. So once I've got quite a few germinated and getting a little bit of growth on them, I'll separate them into their individual containers. I probably have like the 6-pack nursery containers from buying something probably last year, so maybe I'll put them in there. I'm not sure. I don't know if soil blocking will work for these. Okay, vermiculite. There we are. And onions do not need heat to germinate. Okay, and the nice thing about these containers, these are actually takeout containers from Costco. You can get quite a large bag for a good price. And they come with the lid, so it's just the perfect little humidity dome. Once they germinate, you just take off their little lid. Okay, so these are going to go under lights. I think they can germinate with light, but they don't need heat. Okay, I've got a couple under this heat mat here. A couple more here. This one didn't fit, which is fine. It'll just take a little bit longer to germinate. I've got some succulents there. I'm hoping that'll seed. Same thing with this one, not on a heat mat, but I think just based on the room using these mats and the lights, I think it'll get a little bit of warmth. Like I said, it'll just germinate a little slower. And then these ones here as well. Well, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you've tried some of these tomato varieties before. A lot of them are new to me, but I'm very excited to see how they do. And of course the peppers too, and onions. So exciting to get our hands in the soil. It just feels like spring is around the corner. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.